I'll be right there, man. Voice.
No problem.
All right, we're almost ready to go. Okay. Sorry about that. Running around with a bit of a sick kid. Yeah. So here we go. Hey guys. Hello. Alright, I made it. Yay! Hey, thanks everyone. We've been off a couple weeks doing this. So glad to see Bill can make it. Bill, we're calling him Bill the Crafter now. Let me see if I can up your Skype a bit.
Bill the Crafter, huh?
Bill the Crafter, how's that sound? So we're gonna do another Gabbin. Hey, Then, good to see you on, man. Doing another. This one's gonna be a fun one. I've had this planned out for a little while. Unique magic items. A campaign. How's my sound, Bill? Does it sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sounds
don't
good.
mind me. I'm trying to fix a light in here. All my lights are crapping out in the garage.
Oh. You see a ladder. So while he's doing that, let's talk about like what makes your campaign unique. Like what can you do differently from someone else? And it depends on what you like. If you're running, it doesn't even matter if you're running first edition, second edition, fifth edition. But there's got to be Bill's DIY, and hopefully he doesn't fall. What makes what can you do to make a campaign different? And so, what can you do also to add maybe a little humor into your campaign here and there, a little amongst friends? And I see an opportunity in just making something up magic item wise. It's unique, a little unique. It could be from a written module. It could be something you've seen someone else use and you've modified it a little bit. Something that could be like story arc contingent. Hey, Duty, how are you too? Yeah, show me those footballs after that awful Eagles loss, man. But we'll get over it. At least I got one Super Bowl ring in my life. So unique magic items are a way to bring and look, I'm showing an 8 ball and you're like, what the hell are you showing that thing for? So we'll go over some of these. Yes, yeah, absolutely. We'll go over some of these unique items and talk about them and talk about like you know, are they useful? Is it is it an art canon? Yeah, well, the answer is a lot of this stuff has actually become, legendary stuff, and that's kind of cool. You're playing with something like this. The Magic 8 Ball is a legendary item in our campaign now, believe it or not. So we can discuss that. So Bill, beside that, look at that picture. That's your favorite item right there. So
Nita's magic wig.
Nita's magic wig. So nice tree. I mean, Bill's still cranking it out. Thursday night, just a little quick thing for our adventure on Thursday. The Cracked Lantern. I got a new custom mat down. It's like 4x6, and the town we start in is on that, and everything. But I think the roads and a couple, like the adventurers campsite thing. Everything on there is Bill's, so we're not going NBA buildings this week. We're going Bill buildings this week, so that'll be a cool one. I can't do a prelude on Wednesday because I'm running. I got a lot of work stuff going on. I got a national guy in real life work, so I won't be doing a prelude this week. But Thursday, I may try and get some pics out on some of the sites, but it's going to be cool. It's a Bill fest on buildings and stuff to start off the adventure. So
I got all kinds of new things to bring this week.
Cool, man. That's great. That's awesome. We're having a boatload of fun with everything, and it's. I appreciate all the viewers and all the support, and I'll talk about tomorrow night, last night later on too. So, my gosh, thinking about a unique magic, and I'm going back into my head as to what's the oldest one you can remember. What do you think? What's the oldest one that you can remember in the camp? That you would consider like a unique, even if like there was a second copy of it.
Well, I mean, probably the picture that was just up there. I mean, when I first started playing with you guys,
you saw it.
Or even before I started, was you guys were doing Fortress Elendar.
Yes, you saw that. That's a good pick I got, huh? That's not bad for it. Yeah.
And the Shield of Prey is just, it's just a cool item. You're trying to fight somebody, and not only are you avoiding their sword, but the talons are coming out of the eagle and their shield to attack you as well.
Yes.
It's just a cool item.
All right, so Fortress Elendar, it's on my wall of fame as one of our favorite adventures of all time. It's not even a homegrown, it's not even true D&D. It was done by another company, and they have a lot of great unique magic items in that adventure, but the one that sticks, there's two that actually stick out. The Shield of Prey, and when it comes to, you say, what's a teddy bear doing up there? Wait till you see hear that one. The Shield of Prey is this. So if any of you guys want to use it, just, hey, this is not something I made up. It came out of Fortress Elendar. It's a +1 shield, and it has talons, like eagle talons, coming out of it. So when that thing, when you're fighting with it, those talons are grabbing the opponent that you're fighting. You get a +3 to hit with it. So it's a great item. It's a +1 shield only, but it's a +3 to hit on your hit roll, and that's.
So it's +2 to hit.
No, it's 3. It's 3. Gazumba himself has one, and he got it in that adventure. So, yeah, Philly shield. So, the Shield of Prey is one. But I go back to, our old friend Tim, and his character, Skeeve. And two items that stick out. So Tim's the one guy who had the horns on the one time. He comes on these shows occasionally, but he doesn't come to game night that much anymore. So he has the character Skeeve, and he's walking around. He's got this lightning rod in his hand, and I'm DMing, and it's a light, and I'm like, wow, what the heck is this? So I don't know. I didn't make this up. So he gets a lightning bolt shot at him, and the lightning rod absorbs it, right? So no damage. Like, oh shit! So it's a lightning rod. It makes sense. It absorbs lightning bolts. So then he's walking. His character has it, and then later on in the adventure, he gets the whole group gets fireballed, and he's like, the lightning rod absorbs the fireball, and I'm like, nah, it's
what?
I'm like, no, that's not happening. But it absorbed fireballs too. I'm like, no. So I thought that was a cool item, the lightning rod.
That is a cool item.
Yeah, it is. And I think Luke, Mark's brother-in-law, made that item up. And the second one was good old Skeeve, who was wielding a +5 Flaming Frost Vorpal Defender longsword. You say that. You say that 3 times in a row. So another item I didn't make up, but yeah, +5 Flaming Frostbrand Vorpal Defender. Yeah, just throw as many things in there as you could, right, on that one. So they're two of the, before my time is DMing and running stuff and not campaign wise, they're the 2 oldest unique magic items I could think about. And then when I think about in the early days, and it may come up here, if you see a gold scepter, that represents it. Because I'm begotten in an adventure that I wasn't DMing, what's called the Scepter of Disguise, and that is a like souped up wand of wonder with some really special effects on it. So Scepter of Disguise has 3 tables instead of 1, rolling on for wand of wonder effects, but the most important power of it is it gives the ability of shape changing. And if anyone knows the 9th level spell shape change, it's pretty freaking nasty. So he can shape change into a dragon, he can shape change into a giant, he can shape change into a Rakshasa Lord with that, using charges on it. But that, that is a super powerful item. And when it pops up on the thing, I'll oh, thanks, Walt. Hey, Walt, congratulations. Walt is a grandfather. So everyone, Colpy69 is a grandfather. So congrats, man. There you go. So put the name up if you can, Walt, in chat. Yeah, so that's another. There's the Scepter of Disguise, a very powerful item. And when you think about it, when he can shape change into things that make him immune. Like if someone's a fire mage, you can shape change into a fire giant and fire doesn't do damage to him. Or you can shape change into a dragon and breathe fire. It's crazy. So there's the Shield of Prey. I was really happy I found that. The talons come out in attack. And Walt, besides the Shield of Prey, what's your favorite item from Fortress Elendar? And as you type that up, we'll see if it's the one I'm thinking of as well. Talking about another unique magic item that's really cool. See if he types it up as we're going, and we'll continue from that. So in the old days, the stuff was really, really like overtly powerful, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it doesn't have to be super powerful to be unique, right? We can have fun with this. And I got an entire list, an entire page of stuff here of items. Yeah, he should have kicked that field goal, Duty, absolutely. Kinley, nice, man. Well, congrats, man, on being a grandfather. That's awesome. Oh, I found that too, Bill. Take a look at that. I found the Knights of Yuluk wedding celebration for inviting Ambril and Zezix to the wedding. That's a wedding invitation. I found it when I was doing research on this. I had to put that up there. It'll go through. It'll scroll through again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the Caduceus snake. Another one there. So yes. Walt's thinking about it. So I'm thinking unique items don't have to be super powerful. So you look through some of the stuff that I have down here, and I'm looking to try to see some of the olders. All right, so if you ever did, and this stuff, if you ever did an adventure in, I think our Dragon magazines called the Twofold Talismans. Okay, this adventure was really, it's in the Dragon magazines from old days. It's a really cool duo. I may rerun this at some point in the near future. Let me see if I got one of the covers here. I thought I did. Yeah, here's the first cover on it. The Twofold Talisman. All right, the Heart of Light and the Ebon Stone. It's really a great 2 series adventures. There's a lot of cool things in here, but the number one thing in this one was there's monks in the second adventure, the Ebon Stone, and they're guarding outside, and they all are wearing these jackets, mess with the best dye like the rest leather jackets. And they don't have any abilities or anything, but everyone in the old days, and we'll verify this, wanted those jackets. They're like, oh, that's cool, I want to get a jacket. So even an item that no one else would ever have, and it has no magical abilities, can be considered something cool and unique to your campaign.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was thinking, where would you go to start off on finding something that's unique? And that's why I have this book up here. This Greyhawk Adventures book is fantastic. There's a lot of great items in this book. Okay, Walt, the item is this Prometheus clay, right? So we'll talk about that. Prometheus clay. He's very tired. He can't, because he's probably been at the hospital all day. Prometheus clay is the following. It's a clay mold substance, and then you can mold it into a naturally occurring creature like a bear or a tiger. Because, you know, if you know anything about Greek mythology, Prometheus would make all sorts of things out of clay. So
not in a room for X, though.
No, we did that at first, and we realized that's not naturally occurring. Walt would do that. I think, I forget who it was who had it. It was one of Walt's characters had the Prometheus clay, and you know, he was making all sorts. Rumvarax was his favorite thing to make, a 12-hit die. It's not naturally occurring, though. So, you know, we figured the best thing you could make would be like a grizzly bear out of it, a polar bear, you know, really cool things out of it. And that was the second item that came out of the Adventure Fortress Elendar. If anyone's interested in it and you can't find it, I've seen it on Amazon. You know, you just type up, it's Ellendar. It's a great. You have to convert it a little bit, but it's a really cool module. So Greyhawk Adventures, this is the place to start. If you go through this and you go through the magic item section and the spells too, and you go through here, man, there's some great things, some fantastic items, some things that. One of them's up here. The Skull Staff of Hepmonaland is up here. Walt does have that. One of his characters, Riff, his dual-class fighter necromancer has that, and that's in here. There's a lot of really cool, unique things that it gives you a flavor of Greyhawk. And you don't have to go crazy with like the fire wand or the Sulis is in here. Don't be giving out that item. You know what I'm saying? But there's you know, some other cool things in here. Yeah, Zira had it. Oh yeah, okay. Sabertooth Tiger I allowed too. There you go. Skull Staff of Monoland. It does protection from evil effect. It acts as displacement, a cloak of displacement against creatures from the lower planes. It does a lot of really cool things. Walt's character Riff, Gramercy Riff. If anyone knows the movie The Warriors, that's I guess I get the name of that character from the Riffs were the main gang in the movie The Warriors from the late 70s. So another cool item out of this. But I'm telling you, this is where you want to go. Get a copy of it, get a PDF of it. Really some nice stuff. It's all first, second edition based, so you won't have any trouble with it. But like the helm of Korrisk is in there, the wings of the Rakers, right? The boots of the North. No, boots of the North aren't on there. But there's another set of cool boots that are in there. So there's some really neat things that you can wrap your hands around and use for your campaign. So I know that I've used this as a major reference a lot of times and had some great effect with it. There's also some good stories in it. There's some good legend lore stuff that's in here that you can develop.
Yeah, there's some great entering ideas and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where I think it's from like 83 or 84, maybe a little later than that, but definitely a fantastic reference. So I know some stuff scrolling around on the top, and you're like, what the heck is that? So the one up there now, let's see, that's called a caduceus snake, and that is from an adventure that's on our wall as well by Underworld Publishing, and that was the Harbinger of Darkness adventure, and it's a really cool item. Walt has one. Again, Walt has all these items. His character, Vosh, has it, and it's basically a snake that's in her pocket or somewhere. And what it does is 3 times per day, it bites her inner thigh.
Per week.
Yeah. What's that?
It's only one each. The effect is per week.
It's weekly. Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, you can do it weekly. But first time it bites her, it does a cure critical wounds effect, and he can basically act it to bite her. And the second time it bites her, it does a cure serious, and the third time it bites her in that week, thank you, it does a cure light wounds. So a really cool item. I was as close as I could get to finding a picture that would represent that one. But really, once again, another one I didn't make up that came out of a module that we really loved by a third-party producer. And I've never seen anything close to that item anywhere else. I thought it was fantastic, really cool, magical item. So, what about Bill? Bring up something you've. Hey, Jeff, how are you doing, man? So Jeff's on too. So we got a lot of the crew on. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Once again, congrats to Walt becoming a grandfather today.
Yeah, well, one of my favorites, one of my characters has it. It's been up there already, and it can either be really good for me or really bad for me. And that's the Magic 8 Ball.
And that's up right now on the screen. So here's
it. Just popped up, yeah.
I actually made this one. All right, so where am I? All right, here we go. The Magic 8 Ball. Let's get to that. The Magic 8 Ball is here's its discussion. This strange magical item brings what seems to be random good or bad luck upon the user. However, those who know the powers of the Magic 8 Ball know it is all-knowing and can actually see into one's future. And then in parentheses, you have to believe, right? So, of course, I'm a little bit on lore here. This item may be used once per week. A general question must be asked of the Magic 8 Ball as it is shaken, such as, what does the future hold for me? Something, or whatever you want to ask it. And then a seemingly random answer will magically appear through a clear glass part of an otherwise black sphere. The effects from the question will last for a full 24 hours, and they cannot be dispelled under any circumstances. So, yes. Yes, Boots of the North are a great item, too, out there, Walt. But they're good, and they're definitely a great item. Not completely unique, but a great item in the game. They're in Unearthed Arcana. So here's your effects. So he rolls an 8-sided die, and basically he can get no effect whatsoever, or he can get up to +3 on his saving throws, or -3 on his saving throws. And there's not a thing he can do about it after he does it, and he can do that once per day. And there's your effects on it. And
it's a requirement to roll it on an adventure.
He has to use it on an adventure too, or the Magic 8 Ball will determine that no longer can it determine his fate, and it will go to somewhere else off in the world and determine someone else's fate. So every adventure, before it starts sailing, must shake the Magic 8 Ball and ask it a stupid question. And then it'll give an answer that makes no sense under it, but I try to make some up here, what it says, and then, he rolls a random die, and is either going to have a good day or a real bad day. -3 on your saving throws for all day could be really a bad thing. So that's it. And there's a 2% non-cumulative chance that it will teleport away anyway when he uses it at the beginning of an adventure, because it's determined that it can't determine his fate anymore or see his future, and it'll go off somewhere else in the world. I can't even remember what adventure I gave it out in, to be honest with you. Boy, it's kind of a cool item. What's that?
It was early in their career.
It was early. Probably when you were like 4th or 5th level, I gave that thing out. So we're talking about years ago, back at the old 2 houses ago, back in the old Lindenwald.
Somewhere prior to probably like 1996.
Yeah, probably before I was even married. So, yep. So that item is a long time old, and but I like it. It's cool. We actually have an 8 Ball down in the basement that he shakes. So, neat item. One of the ones I like is not really one, and should pop up soon. But this one I developed. So, and this one's multiples. If you know anything about lore in the Gnarly Forest in the Welkwood area, there's a encampment or a ruins called Varnafane. Varnafane was rumored to hold 5 lore of legend dwarven axes, but nothing was written up about them at all. Right? 0. So what happened was, first time they came across one of these axes was the Prince of Ulick's top hero, champion, thug, whatever you want to call him, named Horkar the Magnificent, had what they called the Servant of Clangeddon. That was axe number 1. And it's a +5 battle axe, and it has all these effects. And I know every time Alan was going up and meeting up with these guys that were causing them trouble, his character, Torque, his super high level wild elf Torque, who had high strength, super high strength then, Horkar would always fear him away, and it was hysterical. Every time he would fail his save, and he'd go off running like a screaming little bitch. But, and then Walt's character Schlemmen was always trying to get, see a way to get it, but he did not get that weapon. So that was the first one. But then I developed some others. So we've developed 3 out of the 5 of the Horde. An NPC that I run, Brolin, a member of the Iron Brigade. He's a dwarf priest of Clangeddon. He hangs out with Bill's character Trevin, who's a specialty priest of Tritharion, and they hang out in Narwhal and they with the Headhunters. He has Muammon's Peace. It's a +5 battle axe. It has Dimension Door effect, and it can track as a ranger. So he gets the ability of that. Now the third one, Kurgnal, Milana Sunbane, Alan's character had that one that they found, but gave it to Walt, who had Walt's character, Axel has it. And he's a specialty priest of Clangeddon as well. So a dwarf has that one. So 3 of the 5 ones we've developed up, and the other 2 we haven't. Maybe one day I will, but they all, the 5 Dwarven Axes from Legend, I took it right out of a lore canon, right out of, I don't know if it's from the Ashes set. I think it is. It's from the Ashes box set, and they discuss some places of note or history in there. So I took an idea, and I just developed it up. So something cool. Hey, Jeff. You... Did Marco give it to you? I guess he did. See, and that's the wonders. Marco's campaign on Monday night, he must have given him the Magic 8 Ball. So there's one in going on in their.
He only won.
Well, remember, it is the same. It's technically the same world, but technically, yes and no. So what do you think that's up on the screen right now, Bill?
Oh, it's Rod of Flailing.
The Rod of Flailing. A great item. And I have really regretted giving one out. Why don't you explain that to everyone well, that's great to hear, Jeff, that Mark is following in my footsteps with some of our ideas. So
it's a cool item to give out.
Yeah, the Magic 8 Ball is a cool item. It really is. So go ahead. Tell us about the Rod of Flailing.
The Rod of Flailing is basically a 2-headed flail, and it can either be a footman's flail or a horseman's flail. And it's an item that actually has charges. You get 2 attacks with the weapon. So even if you're a single attack character, you get 2 attacks with it. If you so choose, you can use a charge, and you can split the attacks and hit 2 separate creatures. What becomes nasty about it is in the hands of a specialized fighter is multiple attacks. 2 attacks now needs 4 attacks. And of course, if they're buffed and have some extra damage on there, they get really nasty.
Yeah, but it's, if you give out 1 in the campaign, then it's not that big of a deal, right? So
no.
She's a knight class.
Also, you've got to have someone who's specialized in that flail to make it really
Yes, she is.
Useful.
But it also does, what does it do? A plus on saves or a plus damage on golem? Something bizarre it does. It's a saving throw, right?
It has to do with the charge effects.
The charge does a saving throw effect of either +3 or +4 on your saves for like a certain number of hours or something, which is kind of cool. But the charge effects have nothing to do with the weapon itself. But it once again, I think that's an Arcticana as well. I'm almost positive that's where it is.
I believe it is, yeah.
Yes, and Walt just brought up when we step one back, because Kurgnal Axel's pretty badass, especially priests at Clangeddon, and a lot of specialty priests in our campaign at 8th level get 3 every 2 as a cleric with attack rate. 13th level, certain combat classes, they get 2 every 1. So he's of a higher level, 9th or 10th, so he gets 3 every 2 with it. So he's with that +5 weapon, he's pretty good with it. Just be forewarned on the Rod of Flailing that I suggest that if someone has that flail, look for a multi-class character like a fighter thief, fighter mage, fighter cleric mage to give it to, because you're looking at, if you give it to a cavalier of 1800 strength, you're looking at some rounds on the second attack round they could do 50 points of damage easy with it if they have that high of strength. So be careful with it. But it's a cool item.
Yeah,
man.
well, we got the item, and it was a straight ranger who took it.
But she dual class, yeah.
And then she dual classed to become a knight.
Right,
So
but a multi-class can't change to a dual class.
Yes.
Exactly. So I don't need, unless it's a fighter mage who takes Tenser's what's the Tensor spell that does
Tensor's
special?
Master of Arms.
Yeah, if it's a fighter mage, I'll take Tensor's Master of Arms and then turns them into a specialized fighter with a weapon. Then you're looking at some nastiness, but it's a fighter mage. So, there's a lot of different things you can do, to limit things. And so I try and give, like, a situation where I'll give you the one example. Bracers of Blinding Strike. Now, they're in the Drow the Underdark reference, and everyone knows about those frickin' things from Drizzard, right? I've given out a couple of them, and I've tried to make sure that they've gotten in the hands of, like, a marginal good fighter. Alan's character,
Flid, right?
Flid, who died in the Prelude adventure to the Siege event, he has them. And 3 times per day, you can do double your attack rate. So it's not, and you get +1 in personal initiative within melee combat. So it's not that bad of an item, but don't give that out to a specialized cavalier of 1800 strength. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch where you pick and choose your spots. So on items, there's certain, and I'm telling this for 38 years of gaming, you gotta watch it. Another item, watch on girdles of giant strength. Watch it on right. That's another thing you want
to. Gauntlets of Ogre Power.
Gauntlets of Ogre Power as well. Just be careful. At the end of all right. So here's some other items you want to get into that aren't up there. Return of the Eight. Tensor's dead. Rary killed him. You go through this whole thing. You bring Tensor back. Right. There's a lot of Tensor unique items in this adventure.
Sure.
The Iron Brigade is the beneficiary of a lot of these. So we're going to name 3 of them. First one, Marcus, his Bill's Paladin, Cavalier Paladin, has... Go ahead, what do you got?
Tensor's Boots of the Running Warrior.
Tensor's Boots of the Running Warrior. They give him 15-inch movement rate, and he can attack and move in the same round. So he can move a full 15 inches and attack.
And attack separate targets.
Separate targets. He can attack. Yes. So look at that. Bill. Look at the door. The cat's trying to get in, and he's putting the paw in through the door. It's pretty funny. So yes. So Tensor's Boots of the Running Warrior is a really cool item. It's in the hands of one high level character in our campaign. It's in that adventure Return to the Eight. Be careful. That's another thing. It's great. Be careful with it. I'm fine with it because that's a super high level group. I'm the beneficiary of the second item that came out of that, which is Tensor's Belt of Brawling. So my monk NPC Kieran, who has a child with Marcus, and they still haven't named the kid or whatever, 12th level monk, she has that. Lowers her pluses to hit, to stun by 2. So that's a huge item for her, and that came out. It's called Tensor's Belt of Brawling. Second item. Third item. Was Tensor's and John Sheets' Cleric Mage has it, and I kind of gimped it a little bit, and it was Tensor's
rope belt, yeah.
It was the belt, or was it a cloak of strength?
It's a belt.
It's a belt of strength.
Belt.
Yeah. It's a belt of strength. So the way I got around this one, it gives you 19 strength. The way I got around this one, I said you had to be a magic user to use it. So I said
you had to be a lawful good magic user.
Yes, lawful good. See, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Lawful good magic user, and so his.
Otherwise, the necromancer would have been running around with it.
Yeah. This is funny. Everyone see the cat trying to get in through the back door. Yeah, 19 strength. So yes. So that I got through that. That module's got a lot of great stuff. It's nasty. It's cool. It's the Return of the Eight. It's another one on our Wall of Fame. Some really great, unique magic items in that. So I would look at that and take a look. But it is a campaign-changing event. But if you want Tensor back in your campaign and you want, you want it to move forward, and then you want the other guys to join the circle, because the circle's only 5 at that point. It's right after From the Ashes box set happens. So you get Alamazai the Wise, Theodane, the crazy cat neutral mage, and Warnus Starcode, right?
Warnus Starcode, yeah.
Yeah, so who actually is one that uses the Crook of Rao to banish a whole bunch of demons and stuff. So that's a cool one. That's a real cool one to do. But it's got, like I said, as far as uniqueness goes, it's got some really neat stuff. Don't think that every item every other can be powerful, but items can be also ball busting. So, Walt, hopefully you're still on. Let's just summarize what happened here. So, Walt got divorced, went out,
I don't think we even need to summarize it.
did some things to his body in certain areas, and had a problem in that area where he was having his skin go necrotic, so he had to get the thing removed. But in that time, that gave me a great item, a magic item. We have an area called it's an adventure. It's, if we scroll down, it's right here. The Grave Moor is an area to the south of Hardby. And there's an area of a lot of old school, what you would think of Barrow White area, barrows, and a lot of grave sites, and a lot of, could be undead roaming around in there. So, and in that adventure, I made up this undead, like supposedly super sinister villain who's been dead for hundreds of years, named Lord Twal, Twal. You figure it out. So. Twal was they don't know what he was, but they found something of his that one of Bill's characters has. It's called Twal's Mummified Member, and it has all these powers. And he also found a thing called Twal's Resonating Stud that can attach to the weapon and makes the weapon vibrate and does an extra +2 of damage. Now, when Twal's Mummified Member criticals, it can rot a limb off. So you guys figure out what it is, and yes, and Walt, he's so honored by it. But they have found a couple other items. Like, is there a wondrous digit of his too?
Yeah.
Yes. So they found other Twal items. Now, think about this: you can get a very powerful item at the same time while I'm busting someone's stones in the game for what they have done to their own body. So think about that as a way to bring a little humor and bring a little sarcasm into your game, through innuendo, but still making some neat new magic items. So, one day maybe they'll find out about Lord Twal, but right now he's just a legendary item, and they're finding pieces of him, kind of like Vecna, but, in a little more humorous way. So, thank you for that. Yeah, you know what? No, we don't. But if you want to get on that, I have NPCs. I don't have a Knoll, but we have a bugbear, and we have two bugbears actually. One,
George.
we have two bugbears and a goblin, and so I'm going to answer this.
We have more than one goblin.
I'm going to ask this duty. Yeah, we got a
Don't
couple
forget
goblins.
TP.
Yeah, but TP's dead. So there is and they're out of Altamira. There's a bugbear bounty hunter and a Knoll fighter. They're like best friends, and their names are Poo Poo and Kaka, but they're neutrals, and they are actually members of the Altamira Bounty Hunters Guild, and they're free to roam as they want in the city. And sometimes you'll just come across them in an adventure, and they'll be the NPCs I use in the adventure. Now this group also has George, Gorge. He's a bugbear, and he's a henchman of the group that we're doing Thursday night, the Huntsman. But because I have been informed that Tom is still coming again 2 weeks in a row, I mean, that would be a record, man. If Tom's coming, I'm not going to use George as a henchman. Instead, I'm going to let Tom play one of his three guys. So, Duty, that answers your question. I use the humanoids occasionally in the proper spot in our game, but PC wise, no, we don't do humanoids for PCs. But if you count half ogre, the answer is yes. You can play half ogres. You can play half ogres and half orcs.
There's not that many of them.
What's that?
Not that many half ogres.
Probably 4 or 5 a PC.
Yeah.
PC half, and that's not so, and they can be fun. Walt's got one, and you got one that Kruk, and there's a couple out there, but yeah, we allow them. So no swashbuckling gelatinous cubes and things like that. Remember, we still are pretty old school, but cool, man. I haven't checked that one out yet, but I've heard good things about it. So that's good. That's awesome. But I like to throw in a little wrench and curve sometimes here. Not all humanoids, I guess, are evil, right? So I know we're divulging a little bit. I wanted to answer that question. So I can think of 3 that we have active right now in the campaign as NPCs. One's an active henchman, and two are true NPCs of mine. So, getting on the there's the axes up, Bill. Right now, that's the closest I come to a dwarven axe. But the three axes, and they all look very similar. And we may get to that. Going back, this one's a good item. The Dwarven Helm of the Master Miner. Okay,
Yeah.
This is a recent item, and
Recent for us is 15 years.
who has that? One of yours, right?
My Sasha, my Cavalier.
Yes, and it gives you what?
It gives me the Dwarven Constitution bonus versus magic.
Which is good. So think about this. So, and it's kind of like a Girdle Dwarven kind almost, but if you know anything about player character generation first, second edition, dwarves are great because if you have 18 con, you get +5 on your magic, poison, rod saves, death magic saves. That's pretty
Dwarven
nasty.
clerics can't beat them.
That's pretty nasty to start. It's based on your cons. So if your con's 17 to 14, you get +4 on your saves. Pretty nasty. So this Dwarven Helm actually gives whoever wears it that ability. So cool item. It's based loosely on the Girdle of Dwarven kind, but it's got a lot less abilities. I think it does give you your shifting walls too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really close to the Girdle of Dwarven kind. So dwarves, I think, we if you look at the level of characters, humans, elves, half elves are huge in ours. Then you jump down to dwarves, and then you really jump down to halflings, and I think gnomes are after halflings at this point. They're pretty close. I think we have more half-orcs than we do either of those two. It's close.
Probably.
I think we do. I think we have more half-orcs than but it's just the play style for my guys. Hopefully Tom will play names. His halfling thief named Skeets, or his gnome thief named Rumple Foreskin on Thursday night. So we'll see. That wig. Okay, all right. So the wig has come up. The wig is named Nita's Magic Wig. Okay, and this is me being mean. All right. So I'm not gonna tell you about the person it's based on, but it's a wig someone wears, and they found this. And a Harby group found this. And this is a hysterical story. So, John Sheets, he's got this cleric thief, okay? Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name.
I don't remember.
Yeah, half-orc cleric thief. He took this item. Now, the thing about Nita's Magic Wig is it will not function unless you wear it 24/7. So, he has this page boy blonde wig on him, this half-orc, walking around town in Harby, looking pretty ridiculous in it. But 3 times per day, twice per day, twice per day, it does a blur effect on you. So he can do it, and blur is a pretty nasty thing in a combat. Blur gives you the -4 to hit you to start, and -2 from that round on, and it's an item at 12th level. So he goes in the first round, he's -4 to hit, and then for 11 more rounds, he's -2. So it blurs him. So that's Nita's Magic Wig. That's another bust. And I'll be nice and not discuss who it's about, but it's it's a wig that is makes you look ridiculous wearing it, but it's an item that, once again, another unique item, a little sarcasm in our world, but unique. So yes, AD&D is the one thing I love. The bear. All right, the bear has popped up next. Here comes the bear. You guys are a little blind. Okay, we're going to talk about this one. There you go. This is the Squeeze Me Teddy, another new unique magic item. There was a bear. What?
That's been around longer than I have.
This kind of came out of the Twofold Talisman. I elaborated on it a little bit more. So the Squeeze Me Teddy, it acts as a +1 ring of protection. All right, but you squeeze it and it goes, "Mommy, mommy." Okay, so Alan had a great role play on this. His character Garth had this thing, and back in the old day, we had a guy named Garnett who played, and Alan wasn't a fan of Garnett's a lot. So Garnett had this character Ragnar, his fighter mage. So if he got put in the negatives, Garth would stand over him with a Squeeze Me Teddy, and squeeze it standing above him, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, mommy," till he went down to -9. As long as there was a situation that he wasn't, wasn't a combat situation, heal up a little bit, let him go down to -9 until he was done with taunting him with the Squeeze Me Teddy, and then he Death Store him finally. So that was the Squeeze Me Teddy is another little unique item that why it's in there, who knows, but who knows why the Magic 8 Ball's in, right? So, but Alan, our character our player who on last Thursday night played, if anyone heard Zagarine, him and his I don't mind voice, he comes up with some really funny ideas. So he taunted Iraq now multiple adventures doing that to him. Are you that hot out there? It's that hot in there? Is it hot, brutally hot in there?
What's that? No, I was. Someone got back from food shopping.
Yes. Wow. Hey, that's a cool story. We don't do the tieflings and we don't do the dragonborns, but it's a +1 ringer. It's supposed to be a +1 ringer protection too, Jeff. So, but tieflings in our world are basically Cambions and Alu demons. If you know them in the Monster Manual 2, I know that's kind of where they came from. Dragon and with that, I guess Forgotten Realms has them as races, which is cool. It's another thing we don't allow playing. You may see some NPCs with them occasionally, but that's sometimes you got to kick the ass of those who deserve it, and that's awesome. No Planescape, man. No Planescape at all, man. I just can't do it. I can't have. You know what? I don't know if I hate anything more in the world than a Modron. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything more despicable and despised by me than a Modron? Because it's the dumbest thing I can think of. You got a 2x4 plank board. So I know a lot of people love that stuff, but not for us, man. Not for us in the old school world. Now, Ravenloft is a little bit of a different story, and there's some really cool, unique items coming out of that. And we've done some Ravenloft crossovers occasionally. There's some good modules in the Dragon magazine that had Raven. Wow, look at that, man. That is like, woo! It's the spirits.
Yeah, the ballast is going in my life.
It's the spirit. It's the spirits of Nita, man. So. You have the spirit of Nita wandering around in there. So there he goes. He's going to work on that too.
I got to be AFK for a couple.
What's that?
I got to run inside for a few minutes.
No problem. I'll take care. I'll continue the discussion here. So I'll put something up here. Any vampire items? Yes. I don't have it. Okay. So that's a good question. I have. It's called a crossbow of healing. Now, we have a subclass of Paladin, first edition Paladin, not the Cavalier Paladin, that came basically right out of Baldur's Gate 2, called the Undead Hunter. Undead Hunters can specialize with crossbow, and they become keen in their hand against undead. So this crossbow of healing actually fires stakes, okay? So when it fires and it hits an undead with the stake, the shooter it'll heal the shooter, I think, half the damage back to them. Alan's character that we just saw, Josie, actually has it, but there was no undead in the adventure that we did, the Castle Siege event, when he came in last night on Thursday, she did, but she has that crossbow. So it's really cool. So it doesn't really fire your normal crossbow bolts, it fires big stakes. It's keen. If it crits, I think if it crits an undead, it kills it outright as well. So it's pretty cool. That's an item, a vampire hunter item that I created. If you want the details on that, I can go get it, and I can text you, email it to you. I have no problem sharing that item with you. So I appreciate the question on that, man. Thanks. That's a different direction too. So Matt, here's all right. So another good question. Magic item ID, identification. We do it at the end, but normally, because there's Bill's the writer down of this most of the time, I will tell him what the stuff is and then assume we're going to do the IDs after the adventure's over. We never use items during an adventure. Unless it's an emergency for a potion or something, a potion tester does it. So identifications cost money at the end of the adventure. We take that out of the party treasure for the most part. Higher level special items require special identification. If you're in Greyhawk, Kondratus Bubka from the College of Magic has his Superior Identifier spell. So that's an assumption we make because we've been playing together for so long. We know about it. You should have it detected and you should have it identified. If they want to risk doing a cursed item, it's up to you. But it's just the way, it's our course of the way we play. Just so I don't have to go back and refer into the thing. This is this. Sometimes I won't tell them, but I'll tell them to put it down, and then the identifications will go after the adventure's over. That's how we handle it. Now, if you got a new group and you're only giving out 1 or 2 items during an adventure, okay, man, you may want to go through the whole process of them going back to town and doing it. We do it as an assumption, unless it's a flowing through the campaign like we did with Expedition to Ruins of Greyhawk. Then we went through and had to do it. But if the adventure ends, you assume they're going back. They go back to their base. They go back, and then you can take care of that at the end because you don't want it to drag into the late hours of night, and you want Treasure Division to go and finish up the adventure at a certain point too. So that's a great question too, man. I really appreciate that, Duty, coming up with some good ones tonight. Yeah, so you can handle it however you want, but I think that's the best way to handle it is, put it aside, make an assumption on doing it, and, take the cost out of whatever monies. You determine what it is for an identification. If you have a wand of identification or a wand that does it, read magic or whatever, then you can do it during the course, but that's how I'd handle it. We don't, unless it's a story-driven item like a disc they got to put somewhere or a key they got to use that's magical, or it's depending upon the story, then you got to work it in so that they can use it. But other than that, I wouldn't use items during an adventure until you get them. So until you get them identified at the end. Good question, man. Thanks. Bill's off somewhere, but that was a great question to work on some time. All right, so let's see what else pops up here I haven't talked about. All right, so we talked about the wig that just popped up. There's a green bow up here. It's a Drake Hunter's bow. I specifically am talking about this item because my character Jake, the NPC, had it in the Castle Siege event. He went down multiple times and came up. It is an item that it gives you +4 versus dragons and kin to hit. So it's very powerful against Dragonkind. But the main thing about this is, and this is super huge, it makes them immune to dragon breath weapon while it's being wielded, this bow. So it's the only one I've ever given out. I can't even remember another thing where I gave that out, but in the hands of an archer, it's a great thing. But there were no dragons in that Castle Siege event. So everything okay, dude?
Yeah, everything's good. I'm back.
Yeah, Duty had a good question about how we handle magic item identification. I told him it's assumed at the end of the adventure, take it out of the money, but I'm just telling you what the items are because for ease of speed to not lengthen it out during the evening, Yeah.
So. Yeah, but there are items that there are still some side effects that we don't know what they are.
Yeah, sometimes I will keep things hidden and long term, like like the crown.
The 8-ball, for instance, took me a long time to
because you didn't know
figure out what it is because it was a random number and I didn't know what the effects were.
Absolutely, that's true.
So it took the course of probably 10 or 12 adventures because there were it would roll the same number again, so I'd get the same effect again before I got all the effects down.
Well, I'm kind of going on a tangent. I'm kind of proud about that and the Squeeze Me Teddy that Mark has used them in his campaign already, so that they are memorable to him. Right? They're stupid. They're stupid items, right? Everyone knows, but they're kind of cool and they're memorable. And he's already used them in his campaign with his players, according to Jeff. So that's great. I love that, and it makes me feel good that hey, there it is. There's multiple Squeeze Me Teddies in the world. So another picture that's come up, if you've seen it, looks like a pig. The skin of a pig draped over a table. This item is from a Dragon magazine going way back about Celtic magic items. It's called the Pig Skin of Tuas. And it's a cool item, and it must be in lore somewhere, and someone turned it into a magic item. I don't want to take credit for it. Bill's character, Jonar, has it, and he wears it. Right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So it has 2 cool effects. The effect number 1 in game that is mostly used is it's cure critical, right?
Yeah,
Does it cure critical once per day, which is really nasty. The second thing is that it converts like 60. It's some crazy amount of total. Like 60
Like 60 gallons of water to
60
5
gallons of water to wine like a day. So so needless to say, yeah, he needless to say the pigskin of Tuas is a good party item. So you pour it. I guess I don't know if you pour it in the body and it comes out in its mouth or whatever. No, it doesn't specify where, but it makes a lot of
really
wine.
Say, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of wine in it. So and that's an item that we got a long time ago as well. So lovely pigskin. Another cool item though, and like I said, I don't want to take credit for that. A couple other ones I don't want to take credit for. The Slaver's Reference, another item you have, Brecknell, the Mouth of the Graveyard. Why don't you explain that one, Bill?
Yeah, well, Brecknell in the original Slaver's book is actually a short sword, but it was changed to a bastard sword for our campaign purposes. But it basically, and they don't say, I don't know if it's actually was a dying paladin or whether he chose to go into the blade.
It's a she.
It's a she.
It's a she.
She, yeah. But it's the body of a high-level cavalier's, the mind is trapped inside the sword.
Right.
It conveys some of the paladin abilities to the wielder of the weapon.
Like turn undead and laying on hands.
Yes.
So his character, Sarah, actually gets an extra lay on hands. This is out of the Slaver's Reference. Now, there's also a couple other great items that Davis the Reaver has. One's the Saber of Storms and the Saber of Parrying. No, the Rapier Parrying. But they haven't gotten them because he's a high-level slaver, evil. They haven't even gotten around to dealing with Davis the Reaver yet. So Then brought up an item we just recently put in, the Spoon of Stirring. I never used one before. It is in a reference folder that I have from an old GreatNet spellbook listing going back. It's got to be 30 years old. I don't even know if it's available. It has all these magic items in it, and I use them occasionally. And it was called Spoon of Stirring. I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's a cool item. We just gave it out a few weeks ago. Shows our viewers, especially them watching, you take it in and put it in a potion, and you stir it, and it changes the potion on the table. I think that's a great item. It's really cool. Take all those stupid sweet water potions and turn them into something useful, right? So,
yeah. And if you're down on your luck and you don't have any healing potions, you give it a stir and hope something pops up.
Spoon of Infinite Nutella. I will tell you this, Duty. There will be an item Thursday night that's close to that. That's all I'll say. This Thursday coming up.
Another Merlin spoon.
Yeah, no, it's not a Merlin spoon. But the Merlin spoon is not really a new, unique item. It may be because it's called a Merlin spoon, but we give them out all the time, and that turns that you start stirring that in an empty bowl, and it turns into worm gruel, like cardboard. It's nutritious, but it tastes like shit. So there's multiple spoons we have, but that spoon of stirring, it's the first time I've ever given one out. Good pickup on that. Definitely something that I never would have even thought of tonight, but that's a great pickup on your part. I appreciate that, man. That's cool. Let's see what else. I know there's a couple we haven't talked about that have popped up still. Here's these are old. These are Warhammers. Okay, these are the. I found the effects for these. These are called the Brothers. These are two very powerful Warhammers up in the Vestby Forest. One is called they're both made of adamentite, both +4. One's the Anvil of Mercy, that's the neutral good version, and then the Anvil of Obedience, that's the neutral evil version. And they have some special effects to it. This goes way back. When Bill started playing first in the mid-90s, I created these two items. They're not being utilized by anyone, and they're in his keep, actually, the Eagle's Nest in the Vestby Forest. They're down in his secure dungeon area of his keep. We never really developed anything. No one's ever used them, but they're sitting down there, right, Bill?
Absolutely. I got a couple characters that'd love to have them.
Yes. So, do they negate each other? Don't know. Maybe I'll develop this as a. Do any of these I could say these items are kind of retired because we've never, they have not been utilized by anyone. So the answer to that is occasionally an item will get retired. Yes, so these would be considered, and I wanted to bring these out as unique old items that no one's using, so you could probably consider them as retired. But yeah, sometimes items get a use, and then like the crown of Ruggiero Blood Moon. So we'll talk about the grandiose, unique magic item of them all. So here's the story, and I wish that there was streaming when this happened. What, 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Oh God, it's gotta be, yeah.
Bill started playing in the mid-90s. It's just almost like how Bilbo found the ring, and they, in a little pool of water under some sand, they found this crown. And this goes back 400 adventures ago, and they didn't know much about it. They tried doing research, and they just found out this guy's name was. This is outside Greyhawk, by the way, up in the Diamond Lake area. They found out this crown, the crown of Ruggiero Blood Moon. Found out, and his character is Clark Necromancer Salen. He's also the deputy guildmaster of the Embalmers Guild in Greyhawk. But kind of a little bit of a, a little shaky, a little, scared of undead, scared of his own shadow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did a lot of research and found out that this guy was like a Tulsa Doom guy from, like, if you ever watched Come My Child, and they step right off the cliff and, he could control people with his mind. So the group hid this away from him because they didn't want him getting it because he kind of had this weird fixation on it. So Walt's character, Alphonse, who's also very high up, he's the second in command of the Night Watchman. He's actually a dark man, and he's a Clark bounty hunter. He had it sealed away in the vault there. Well, this is the longest, I think, campaign teaser I've done. It's got to be 20 years, right?
Close to it.
Close to.
They got the crew out this way. We've had it since before the Return of the Eight. And the Return of the Eight we did in 1998.
No, it was 98 or 97. Well, yeah, you're right. So we're looking at 94 maybe for this, 1994. And so come around, right before, it's got to be a year or two before I moved from the other house, 2012? 2011, 2012. So 16 years later, a group of cultists of Ruggiero got the crown and put it on Salen's head finally. And Salen became this ultimate megalomaniac power dude, and it was a whole campaign, multiple nights. If you scroll down on the panels underneath the main screen here, down the panels at the bottom, the very next to last one, I have the Salen made me do it. There's a picture of Gilfin is dead, next to, that's a pic from that actual adventure. So you want to talk about a retired item. So he went out back into the hills. They had to follow him. He had all these, he took all the pieces of characters that Milana, he had 3 of them. Railstone, he cloned them all. He got Swain back. He cloned, and it was nasty, but it was fun. So that could be considered a very retired item. They finally destroyed that crown, but that's about as retired as you get, right? It was like I said, I wish that we had that in the days of streaming, but I have only like 3 or 4 picks from the entire thing. Trident of Returning. Trident of Returning would be almost like a spear returning. Another cool item.
Yep.
There's a lot of neat spears. Like there's a spear that we have that if you hit someone with it, the blood of that goes into the spear, and then that allows you to track that type of race of person or monster while the blood's in it. That's one. But thrown spears of returning are an item that's in there. There's thrown hammers. There's hammer. Dwarven thrower comes back. So the trident of throwing thing is another thing that we just changed over from a spear of returning. A cool item. But I appreciate you bringing that one up too. I think that was in Murlocs, even more Murlocs. That the Mind Flayer had that, and he threw that to great effect as well. Absolutely. Rocking and rolling here. Let's see. Another cool item, low level. I gave this out to in the Greyhawk Kids group, and I also gave it out in one of ours. was Lord Charter's Warrior's Spell Cap. And do you remember that one?
Yep.
That one gave special effects to spellcasters, gave them some special abilities, but also gave them a bonus to armor class, if I recall.
I believe so.
Yes. Thanks then for that. Excellent on that reference there too. I completely made it up. I was always thinking of when I did that one. I was always thinking of Conan. I was thinking of, my God, Tulsa Doom can just just with his thought, and he's got power over life and death of these people. That's kind of the direction I went in that. Not an undead direction, but more of a severe mind control direction. Yeah, so Lord Charter, who knows who he was, but he was a fighter warrior type, but he had spellcasting abilities. So maybe he was multi-class, maybe he was dual class, they don't know. So he created a spell cap that only spellcasters could wear, but it gave them bonuses to armor class, and it gave them bonuses to extra slots of spells. And if you know something, and I don't know how it works in later editions, and I'm not a 5th edition guy, mages tend to have very limited spells to cast off. Even when they get to 4th level, they got 5? They're 3-2. Is that right, Bill? 3-2 at 5th, 4th. And spells first, second.
It's 3-2-1.
No, not at 4th. That's 3-2-1 at 5th.
Fourth is 3-2.
No. It's 3-2 because 3rd's 2-1. 4th is where you get 5 spells. So I try and give stuff that gives them extra slot spells, and that would be one of the items. And something that if you're doing old 1st, 2nd edition, you may want to consider in your campaign. Pearls of Power are great for that because you can recast a spell. Robes, don't give them a great armor class. Give them maybe an armor class of 5 or 6 or 7 with a bonus 2nd spell or bonus 3rd or bonus 1st, whatever. You get the idea. That's what I tend to do. And one of our feats is extra spell slot. Straight mages get it free, but it's another way to get a unique item into your game that'll help your spellcasters, with their limited amount of spells they have. So, we don't use sorcerers, never did, never will. We have all the other spell types: elementalists, necromancers, shadow mages, wild mages. Love that stuff. Their spells lists are limited. Don't get, Rings of Wizardry are great, but be careful with them. Give them out rarely. I gave out a Ring of Wizardry that doubles 3rds on Thursday night, and that is nasty because that's where your hardcore mage damage spells, Lightning Bolt, Fireball, all start at. So, who got that?
Wasn't me. It skipped down because I already have one I'm not wearing.
Gilglad got it? I don't remember who got it. Yeah. Warlocks, no duty, but we have a witch. We have the witch as an NPC, as a PC class. So yes, we have witches. Yeah, we not really the warlock male, but the witch, the female version, the corrupt man corruptor. They got a lot of good spells too. So nothing uniquely on magic items with them, but yeah, the witch is great. I mean, we allow witches to multi-class too, depending on they got different types. What's it called? Families or spheres or whatever.
There's family. There's demon. There's 5 or 6 different types of spheres of witch.
Yeah, there's a good reference on it. You can actually download it off Drive-Thru RPG. We base a lot of it on that, but it's a really good reference. You can actually be a witch mage. A lot of Rennie or witches in our campaign. If you know about the Rennie, the boat people, you're kind of like the gypsies of the campaign. So we get the witch from there. So it's a cool thing, definitely. So you see a pipe that has come up. I can't take credit for this one. There's a pipe going. I found the closest one I could. It was animated. It's the smoking pipe of the Sea Terror. I think one of my characters has it. I think Jack may have it. But the smoking pipe of the Sea Terror, yeah, Jack has it. He can summon, as long as he's in water somewhere where they're available, he can summon a scrag once per week by smoking it. And the scrag comes, and scrag is a water-bound troll, and it lasts a certain amount of, I think it's 12 rounds. And so that's a cool item. And there it is. There, the pipe is popping up right now as we speak. I just tried to find one that would look remotely close to it, but that's a smoking pipe of the Sea Terror. It actually came out of an adventure. Another one that's up here is this one that Walt's character has. This is the eye, and you'll see this, the Eye of the Sea King. Another one that came out of an adventure that was a published one. This one gives you a lot of water abilities as a 7th level druid, but once per week it can summon these water wights to do your bidding. I think we saw them long ago in one of the Knuckle Paler Adventures. Walt's character Tyra used it, I believe, where he brought them out to stop the attack.
The Scrags.
To stop the Scrags from the other group, yeah. But the only downside to this is it will not function unless the owner appeases the Sea King, whoever that may be, for this item. And that involves the slaying of a creature in a body of water and then tossing the body into the ocean, river, lake to appease the god. So he has to do that. So if he kills someone, she kills someone on the ship, it's kind of like those, the burial at sea thing she has to do to keep that item functioning. Another cool item. I can't say I took credit for it, but definitely a neat item that is out there. Yeah. I love some of the stuff that other people come up with. So Thursday night we're doing Creation's Edge Games adventure. It's called the Cracked Lantern. This guy is this guy's great on thought. Here's the adventure. It's Matthew Klein. These are downloaded on our Drive-Thru RPG for $1.50. That's it. They're really good. I think that was one of his. He comes up with a lot of cool stuff. I want to give him credit when credit's due. Nice. This adventure. So we'll see some kind of unique stuff coming up Thursday night as well. And I think that's where that's Eye of the Sea King came from too. Was one of his as well. Could have been Saving Pirate Orion on that one or one of those. So he does a lot of spoof stuff. So here's another thing that's popped up. You'll see. There's the Eye of the Sea King that came up just before this, but the folding boat comes out of a couple adventures. There was one that shrunk down at the end of the Drow series, D3. There has one that shrinks down, but there's now a folding boat. I know one of Walt's has one. They're named Shrimpkin and Fishkin. But there are two of them in the campaign. The boat actually folds down to a little handheld thing, so it's a great useful item. Another cool item. Bill up. Another thing now, the Star of Terror's up. Your flail, right?
Morningstar.
Yes. The character who died multiple times and kept on healing on Thursday night. Sunhild has this item. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but does cumulative fear effects on the creatures it hits. They got to save and they fail, and then it's cumulative.
Yeah, they're -1 to hit, damage and saving throws.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Another neat item, that is unique, but that came out of the Tomb of Abbotsford. That's a Necromancer Games module that we did a long time ago again. So, some other ones. Let's see. Go back in time to this one. You never saw this one. This is the back of Pukhead's sheet.
I was looking at that. I'm jealous.
Mornblade, +4 Assassin's Short Sword.
Wasn't that Black Razor's twin?
No, it wasn't. I just didn't even realize that I named it the same thing as in the book, as in the Deities and Demigods book. It's just an ironic. It's just ironic that I did that. I wasn't even thinking about it. So detects good, dispels invisibility, turns spells as a ring of spell turning. This is a little bit too. This is a retired item. Okay, a little bit too powerful. Poisons is a spell by touch 3 times per day. Heals as a spell by touch 1 time per day. But the main effect of this weapon, characters assassinated by Mornblade cannot be raised. Only a wish will bring them back. So when he got a hold of this, he killed a lot of super high level characters permanently with it. So consider this a mega weapon that I wanted to use to take out some high level characters. A lot of them were NPCs at the time. When this character was running around as the arch antithesis, he was a gnome illusionist assassin. We're going back even before Bill was playing in the late 80s, early 90s for this. So consider that the granddaddy of all evil unique items that we use in the campaign, but consider that retired. That one's long gone. So obviously it had to be evil to use it. So I don't remember if they destroyed it or what, but it's gone in the campaign. So I wanted to bring that one up to show you something else that was out there negated. So I know we're getting close to. We got 15 minutes left here on time. I got some in my notes here we haven't discussed or that aren't up. This one's a Forgotten Realms item we ported over, Laryl's Storm Armor. A cool item. I think I got the idea for it. I was like, wow, this is great. In the Horde Undead, what was that? I think that's where it came from.
It might have been.
I think it was the Horde Undead adventure. We got it from. The thing about it is it acts as multiple rings of resistance. The one bad thing is if you get hit with a fireball and a cold spell at the same time, the effects on it will actually shatter it, or the possibility of shattering the armor because it can't do what it needs to do for both at the same time. So it has multiple defenses on it. It's a very powerful piece of armor. But remember, Laryl's a Forgotten Realms item person, but we ported that one over. So that's pretty neat. Everyone's favorite NPC, Gilthanus, has this. This came out of an event, a module. It's called Fiend's Embrace. It's actually made out of demon skin. He doesn't wear it around that much, but he likes to keep it because he's chaotic stupid, and chaotic stupid characters do dumb things. It does double strength fire resistance. It's definitely a cloak, but like I said, he rarely wears it, and if he wears it, people in the party get pissed off, so he just leaves it at home. Another cool item. Trevin has Yeldrindar, a footman's mace.
Yeah.
And that does some pretty nasty. I don't even remember what that does.
I mean, it's a +3 footman's mace, and against lawful neutral, lawful evil clerics of Foltis, it
That's
kills
it.
them.
It does the same thing that Inga's barbarian bile axe, bastard sword does against. It does the blood stars for hers, and that does and it really hates two things. Okay, chaotic goods. If you know anything about Greyhawk, chaotic good Tritherian people hate two types of people, or two types of classes, or they hate lawful evil, they hate organized evil, and they hate lawful neutral Foltis people because they're sellouts. They think they can't stand them. So I have those items do the same bad effect to the lawful evil as the lawful neutral Foltis people. Now, if you go back to the old days, Foltis was a lawful good deity. Well, a lot of stuff people don't like that came out of From the Ashes, but the one thing I do like about that came out of that was the lawful neutral aspect of Foltis got played up real well, and it really gave us another antithesis. So if you know the adventuring party groups, the Fighters of the Light, they were all lawful neutral Foltis worshippers, and if you watched Events Before David Gradavis's Wedding, all the Foltis worshippers had overtaken that town before the zombie army came, and they were the holdouts left there. Right? So there was tension there even before, evil versus good. So some of these unique items I gave out do bad things to the Foltis people too, and that's a campaign issue. That's something that is for us, right? So yep, absolutely. So another item. This item is in this book, I believe. You have one. Once per day, you can use
I got a bunch of them.
You have once per day. You can use it. It reappears in your quiver at the end of the day.
Oh, I don't have that.
You don't have the black
Walt
arrow.
has that.
Oh, it's called a black arrow of Eas.
Yep, I don't have one of those.
I thought you
want
did.
it, but
you have the quiver that you randomly pull out a special effect one, right?
I have it was the Emerald Quiver, yeah.
Okay, so that's another.
My bandit has that. Yep.
Yes. So two things. All right. So the black arrow of Eas is in here. And it's nasty, and I think it automatically crits when it hits. If I recall,
it's a save versus death or die.
No, I think really. I think it's automatically. Let me look real quick. The other one. So tell them about the quiver real quick while I'm looking this up.
Well, the quiver that she had, it's a random pull. Once per day, you can pull a magic arrow out of it. And it's probably like 60% plus one arrow, 20% plus two arrow, plus 10% plus 3 arrow, and then there's a minuscule chance it'll pull an arrow of slaying you.
Yeah, I think a 1 in 20 though, isn't it? That's not.
But
really...
it's an arrow of slaying lycanthropes though. It's not just random. It's lycanthropes.
Oh, okay. All right, black arrow is +3. Carved from the bone of a black dragon. This enchanted arrow strikes a +3 to hit and damage. The arrow reappears in the owner's quiver each dawn after it's used. Really cool. This arrow, okay. This is Once per day, an archer can call upon its deadly powers, causing the target. Oh, saves versus death magic or die immediately. You're right.
Yeah.
Go to line character
Yes.
save at -2, but you do get a save at least. It's not like an arrow of slaying.
Not like an arrow of
All
slaying.
right, so wow. Well, that's in here, guys. So have fun with that, but don't give out too many of them. But you give out one in the campaign to a key character. Hey, that's cool. That's cool item. I know we have one out there in the campaign, so another neat one. I said that Black Arrow V is I thought it was an automatic crit. I know there's something out there like that if the arrow hits, it automatically crits too. We've done that as well, but they weren't reusable. So I'm looking through my list here. I think we've gotten everything on my list here. No, one thing. Okay, so you've probably seen this if you go. Remember events before David Gravis' wedding, Railstone, and Railstone was the one he got put down to 0 Thursday night. He stayed there. He has Salanthine. It's a +2 great mace of disruption. Normally disruptions or maces are just footman's maces and +1. This is +2, and he's always around the proper time to use that. You could say that's another vampire weapon duty. That thing, if you look on that table, you roll on like the 9 to 13 level cleric table, and if you roll a turn, it destroys. So it destroys like vampires almost 50% of the time. Mace of disruption.
Yeah.
Even destroys lesser demons and devils like 5% of the time. So
Yep.
maces of disruption are nasty, but this is even more. It's got some special abilities as well. It lowers his armor class. It's a very powerful item. I don't remember where he got it, but it's another unique item in our campaign.
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a cool item. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking here. I think that's it. I think I got everything on this list that I had written down. And I know there's multiple ones that I'm forgetting because we've been playing 38 years. I know there's a lot that I'm completely forgetting that go back in the day. I'm not going to talk about planar blades because I didn't make them up, and so they're kind of like lightsabers. They're being phased out. Jeff Moore was DMing some stuff when we were in high school back then, and so we're willing to go there on those. But any that you can think of. I got one more here.
Well, there's different versions of it. I mean, there's a couple items. The Chalice of the Shieldlands is
Yes.
a neat item right out of the Greyhawk book.
Yeah, the Chalice of the Shieldlands will actually turn a fighter into a paladin for a quest, for an adventure. So it's a cool campaign item that you can take in a certain spot and turn I think you had a lawful neutral your Cavalier, right?
Yeah, she
Used
becomes
it.
Cavalier Paladin.
Should be and actually McCall the Equalizer used one once too, and then there's the Warlord Blade of the Shieldlands too. Is another item you were talking about as well, and that gives you.
And there's two different versions of that too.
There's two different versions of the Warlord Blade of the Shieldlands as well. Another cool item, gives you some powers. And then once again, they're campaign based, but we do a lot of adventuring in the Shieldlands, so it really fits in well with what we have developed. Will we see Randall White in one piece ever again? Who knows? It's another question for another day. But going back,
he's in a lot of pieces.
going way back, Gazumba's best friend Hawk has a great item. I know a lot of people love to get a hold of. It's a Ring of Haste. Now you say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, he can turn it on and off at will. So he can haste himself up to 10 rounds a day with it. And so he's a fighter thief, and he uses that to his advantage. A lot of it's free action, so he's wearing that. He's got to wear it as one of his rings, and then he can haste himself with it. That goes way back in the day. I think that Tim gave that out to him in an old adventure, maybe in the Wizard of Id. I think back in the day on that one. That's the last one I see on my list. But I know there's a lot of other ones.
There's tons of others that are in
Yeah.
there. The Keel, was it Keel Vanish Slated to Sea?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's in here.
Plate now, but if you fall in, you don't drown, you can swim. And I know there's a bunch of them around. It's just a cool item. The Cloak of the Manta Ray.
Absolutely. There's a lot. I mean, it's fantastic. Like you said, get a copy of this book. Whatever you can do, get a copy of it. Even if it's just in PDF, there's some great stuff in it. So I know you got your WD coming up shortly, right? And,
Absolutely.
All right. So here's the schedule for the week. We got a lot going on. Tomorrow night, the Adventures of Slap continue. Mark's group in Ohio, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, I know it's a little early for some of you, but maybe for if you're working, no big deal or whatever. Or if you're thin in the UK, maybe it's earlier is better. I don't know, but it was fun. It was a lot. It was hysterical last week. I laughed the whole time I was watching it. And he's doing a real good. Mark's doing a real good job with that group, and I know Jeff's got some great terrain he's working on there too. So that's a cool thing. Thursday night we're going to do the Crack Lantern. It's going to be a one-nighter. It's going to be the Huntsman, a group that we've not seen in the stream yet. There's a lot of bounty hunters in the group. So it's kind of a different feel to the group than some other groups. And I've incorporated my own story into this and developed it. But it'll be a one-nighter. The terrain up is all going to be Bill's. Bill's trees, Bill's buildings, all his stuff. The only thing, the roads are rolled and some other minor things, but the terrain of the town is going to be all Bill's stuff this week. Saturday morning, around 11 a.m., it's on the schedule. It's tentative. But from last night's hugely successful board game night, which is insane how successful it was. All the friends of my friend Steve's son's friends, all of them that were there, all want to play some D&D. I'm going to host a little create a character D&D adventure for this group Saturday morning at 11. We're going to stream it because we're going to show how to create a character in a first edition campaign. Shane's going to do it as well. He's going to jump in. I don't know what you're doing, Bill. If you want to do it, that's fine. If not, it's no big deal. But we're going to do a new first. And it's going to be, these guys don't even know how to play. So this is going to be a basic, how do you start a character up and start a little mini campaign thing and see where it goes. But from 11 to 3 on Saturday. So that's the time. Shane's got swim lessons, so I got to start it then. So that'll be cool to see, these kids are 12, 13, to see, oh, wow, how do I know nothing about D&D, and none of them do. So I'm gonna incorporate, I'm going to teach them about it. So my 8-year-old knows more than they do. So we'll see how, it could be funny, it could be, we'll see. We may not even get much adventuring, but we're going to create a character from scratch online. I thought it'd be cool. So, what are you working on, man? Hey, Lo, how are you, man?
Oh, here, let me disconnect. I can show you. I got a lot of stuff going on today.
We're gonna see. We're on for another 5 minutes here. We're gonna show. Bill's gonna show us what he's crafting, and we're gonna call it an evening. I appreciate you guys. After let's see what Bill's got crafting over there.
Working on some dead trees.
Okay, cool.
So and then I got a tree up here that's going to be a town square centerpiece.
Nice.
Where very similar, think of the old Robin Hood style where people would put whatever they want tacked to the tree. So I'll have signs and seals and all kinds of stuff tacked around the tree. That'd be in the center of a village somewhere. It's a little dark over here now, but I finished my dollar store Kit Bash Dracolich.
Nice.
And we got some guys hanging on the pole who didn't listen. And this is what I did today. You know what? Let me turn this on first because I didn't.
It doesn't vibrate, does it?
No,
it's not a twall item.
No, I made a little evil altar.
Oh, nice, man! Look at that.
So it's got a skeletal
man.
skin back and.
Oh, look at that chair! Holy jeez, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Holy cool.
So just overhead view.
Beautiful.
It's hard to do. See, now we got our.
Oh, look at that! A nice lectern with a book on there, a tome of some sort. That's fantastic, man.
And then the last piece, I got some more.
Yeah, never on the trees.
So this has got for Jay. It's got openings at both ends. So you can...
Nice one. That's awesome.
Another little small piece. Now I'm out of trees again.
So thank you for that, Bill. Next Sunday night, 7:30, we are going to talk up, and there's no Eagles to worry about. So we're playing on Thursday night because they're 2 and 3. Who cares now, right? So Sunday night next week, we're going to talk about the campaign, and what I mean by that is how it started, where it came from, and how it evolved to where we are now. So, hey, Lo, man, put it on your site, man. Put it on your site. Yeah, put that thing on your site, man. Put some pics up on that, man. That would be awesome. I want to see it. I want to see that, man. If you did the Temple of Elemental Evil, I want to see some of those pics, man. Put them up. That'd be awesome. Definitely. So we're gonna talk about the campaign next week. I think that'll be a good topic. We're gonna go for everything from the beginning, the early days up. I'm gonna trying to get some of the old guys on. I'm trying to get Tim on. I'm trying to get Walt on here to talk at the beginning, the early inception of the campaign and how it evolved and the direction it went. We went off some tangents here and there, and just to talk about that because I think that's important to know. Why where we are to this day now and why we'll never go to 5e. Can't. It's not going to happen for us just because of where our direction went. Yeah. So below, put some pics up on that, man, or send me your email address in a whisper, and I'll give you mine back. And what you want to do, I want to see some of that stuff. That's awesome. So, any other questions online? No, Bill's got to go, but if you got to depart off, I'll take some questions while we're on here. I know you got to go, but I appreciate everything, man. You hopping on. So,
yeah, Walking Dead's coming on.
Yeah, all right. You depart, and I'll take some questions if anyone has. So, thanks a lot, man. You have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take it easy.
So, any other questions about magical items or about anything about what we're doing? I really, Duty had some great ones. Then had some great ones tonight. I really okay, cool, man. Yeah, that's great. Dude, I don't use Discord. I haven't used it yet, but yeah, you can do that, and I'll get on there eventually. Yeah, so we. How early are you getting magic items in Greyhawk? You mean like how early on level wise? Look, you can. Here's what happens: the lower level it is, you can give out magic items lower level. You want to entice your players to, oh wow, that's cool. So I'm going to say this: almost every first adventure I do, at first initial level, they find a mystical-looking ring with two strange-looking symbols on it, scratched on the inside of the ring. And one of them looks like this, and one of them looks like this. Okay? +1 ring of protection. Very basic item you can give out early on. Lowers the armor class 1 spot, and it gives you a +1 on saves, but it really is a useful item. Not imbalancing. There's some, you can give out magic items early on. You don't want to give out a flood of them. Potions are great things to give out because they're used and they're gone. Not potions of fire breath, but potion extra healing, a potion of gaseous form, a potion of bull strength, a potion that raises your constitution. You can give out those kind of items. Hey, thanks for sending that over, man. So I would say you got to learn how to balance out the levels from start to finish on when you want to give out really nasty stuff. But it's okay to give out magical items early levels. It is. I mean, D&D's Greyhawk's a magic-rich world. So giving out a +1 ring of protection here or there, or Bracer's AC 8. Don't give it out 2, but Bracer's AC 8 for a spellcaster. Or we give out here's another unique item you can think of. You know how thieves have to use leather armor? Sahagwin have these things called harnesses. So what we allow, they're magical harnesses of some sort. We allow a harness to supplement the leather armor class. So if you have +1 leather armor or even normal leather armor, and you get this magical harness. I think we gave out one the other night. I think the gladiator guy, Pinch, had it. You can wear that with leather, and that'll lower your leather armor class. So that's another cool item you can give out at lower levels. So you can think about all the different sorts of things. Bill's learned a lot from DM Scotty as well. Are you a member of the Tabletop Crafters Guild? That's a great guild. Site on what do you call it, on Facebook. So definitely a cool site. Yeah, good. I know that he does a lot of stuff. It's William Haley. You'll see a lot of his posts on there. He did the tree from Game of Thrones on there, just and put that up there a little recently. So that's a good question. So you see what I do and stuff, and I try and make it so that it's all inclusive and everyone gets something. So say there's like 5 characters in an adventure. A couple potions here and there, man. You know, something. It doesn't even have to be. It can be like. It can even be like. It doesn't even have to be a magic item. Like an idol of like. I like giving out like goofy idols, like an idol of statue of Helani Selenol, the goddess of beauty, or Blipdol Poulp. You know, you can give those things out too, and they can have a weird effect. Like we do these lucky ring things too. You can give out. So it doesn't do a +1 ring of protection, but like it gives you a +1 on one of the categories of saving throws. So maybe it gives +1 on wands only, or gives +1 on poison only, or gives +1 on spells only, or death magic only, or petrification only. She can give those things out earlier on, and those things, you know, higher level characters are going to want to use because you can only wear 2 rings unless you have something, a wish or something else special. So that's a cool thing you can do too. You know, you can give limited items. You know, items that are, you know, later on they're not going to want to use. You can give scalable items out too. Scalable items are cool. So I have this, there's this battle axe that Bill's character has. From levels 1 to 4, it was +1 to hit, and it healed him for 1 to 4 points a day. From levels 5 to 8, it was +2 to hit and damage. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry. And it healed him, it did a healing effect for 5 to 8 points once per day. At 9th level, it's +3 to hit and damage, and it healed him for 9 to 12 points once per day. So you can do a scalable item, kind of a unique item that scales, has a spell, you know. That's another way to do stuff earlier on. We do masterwork items too. So a masterwork item is +1 to hit because if it's really well crafted with no extra damage. It's not really a magic item, but you can buy those. 10 times the normal cost is what we do. So a masterwork sword is like between $150 and $300. Now you got to find someone. You got to do in the course of roleplay someone who's capable of doing that. Masterwork hours +1 to hit. It can't hit. You know, they can't hit creatures with magical weapons, but they give them a +1. Yeah, right. So you can do that as well. Give them a masterwork short sword. You know, give them whatever, and that's a way of introducing, giving items out to people. You know, as treasure at the end, and you're not overpowering things. So you know. Something cool to do. If you use some of our feats and you do the shield mastery ability, okay, shield mastery gives you if a +1 shield functions as +2 in the hands of the wielder. Give them a +0 shield. All right, so it's a masterwork shield. So it gives them just the shield bonus, but in the hands of someone with that shield mastery skill, gives them 1 lower on their armor class. Another thing you can do. You know, masterwork armor, another thing. So some armor is really slow moving, like splint mail. So you can find a suit of masterwork splint mail. Movement rate is 9 inches instead of 6 inches on it. Another thing you can do. Masterwork chainmail, 12 inches movement instead of 9 movement. So, you know what? You live in Chicago, you know, I'm telling you, there's nothing different. It's wonderful. We love it. You know, Mark moved out to Ohio. It's good and bad. He was here on Thursday night, fortunately. Now he's back in Ohio. But, you know, he has his own group now out there. You know, now I have another broadcast, and I have another group of friends, like Jeff and them, and it's great. So, you know, tabletop's the way to go, man. Tabletop miniatures. I mean, you do a lot on there. Like I said, I love your Gamma World, man. I love that. So, hey, so anyone who's watching, Low 505, if you haven't followed him, follow. He does old school stuff. Follow him, please. The Gamma World on Wednesday nights is cool, man. And he does some old school, even basic and expert edition stuff. So throw him a follow. And if you're a follower of his, throw me a follow too, please. So, but, you know, it's cool, man. It's really cool stuff. So, no problem. Anytime, man. I appreciate it. So, like I said, in the recapping, Monday night, tomorrow night, Adventures of Slap from 6 to 9 p.m. Wednesday night, one night adventure from 7:30 p.m. to probably about 11:30, I think we'll finish. The Cracked Lantern. Okay. The Huntsman, that adventuring group. A lot of bounty hunters will be doing that. Saturday morning, Greyhawk Kids. It's called Greyhawk Kids number 11, but it'll be a whole new group of kids who've never played before, starting from scratch. It's going to be interesting. I want to get a feel for how it goes. That's why I want to, I want to stream it because I want to, they're going to start to create characters from scratch. I think it'll be pretty cool. And then we'll run something. That's a little something planned for them. All right, and then Sunday night, next Sunday, we're gonna do Gabbin number 18, talking about the campaign from the beginning. So, guys, thanks. It was a great. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate the questions. It's been fun. I'm having a blast with it. We even had fun with the board game night last night. I was shocked on how many people watched. So, yes. So we're looking at 11 a.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to. It's going to be from the beginning, man. It's going to be. I thought you guys gamed on through Saturdays though, man. So you may be able to catch it a little bit, and from that time frame. I'm interested just to see, as Lo brought it up again, how it goes with just kids who've never played the game before. I'm serious. It's tentative, but I'm almost positive. I will take it off the event schedule if it doesn't happen, so everyone will know. Okay, but right now it's set. So okay, so 2 p.m. So yours is going to start where mine ends. That's perfect because mine ends at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's perfect. So I'll try and get some follow up, some put ups on that one on yours as well. So that's what I have for tonight. Thanks for everyone for watching. This is Gabbin at Lord Peakshaven. Yes, 11 a.m. Eastern. So it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern for you. Gabbin at Lord Peakshaven number 17. Unique magic items. A great discussion here. And you're all really, I can't thank you guys enough for the support. We're just growing every day. Watch tomorrow night if you can because it's freaking hysterical. The Adventures of Slap are going great, and Mark's doing a great job for them. I'm going to call it an evening and wallow in my sorrow for another Eagles loss here. But you guys all have been fantastic. So I'll see you all. I'll be on Skyping in a little bit, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I don't want to interrupt the game too much, but I'll be on Skype in the background for tomorrow night. So I'll see you all soon, and keep on gaming and keep on tabletopping, guys. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.